I was hanging out with my friend last night, and we were talking about life, we were talking about goals, we were talking about this, we were talking about that. And so we were talking, and what came up in the conversation was my friend's friend, who my friend happens to be in business with. And so he was telling me basically the secret to why my friend's friend is doing so well in life. God bless this guy. And he was just like, dude, ever since we were kids, this guy just always assumed the mindset that he is blessed and always favored. Basically, he didn't exactly say those words, but basically he's always blessed and always favored. Any circumstance that's not going well in his favor, he always flips it in his mind, as long as he's tried his best without bullshitting himself, that this circumstance is the best for me right now, and let me make the most of it. And any negative circumstance that would happen in his life, he would reframe that to the positive somehow. And so when we were talking about these things, we got into religion a little bit. I'm not a super religious person, but sometimes, I talk about these things or have conversations, especially with this particular friend. And he was like, bro, this is like a cheat code to life. If you just assume that you're always blessed and always favored, no matter what the hell the circumstances that are going on in your life, you will succeed in the end. And he was giving me a few examples of himself, how his negative mindset in the past would block him from certain blessings in life. It could be anything. It could be a trip he was supposed to go on that he was eager to go on, yes, but there were certain things that he was doubting because of his negative mindset. And because of that negative mindset, it got in the way of reaping those blessings of the trip. And he was telling me the difference between himself and that friend of his who's ultra successful. God bless this guy. Again, no evil eye or anything, intended for this guy. He was saying the difference is his friend just always flipped things to the positive. For example, he's going on this trip. My friend this is. He's going on this trip and he's assuming all these negatives. He almost missed a flight. He's like, oh, what is this bullshit? I knew some shit was going to happen. I knew this, I knew that. His friend, on the other hand, if he were to go through the same, circumstance, he'd be like, you know what? That happened for the better. God protected me from something bad that was going to happen. And for that, I'm blessed. Now, because of that, it's teaching me patience. It's teaching me this. It's teaching me that. I get to work more on so-and-so. I get to work more on my business. I get to do this. I get to do that. And so he's saying ever since his friend was a kid, he's been thinking this way. He always thinks that he's blessed and always favored. And just because of that assumption, that's exactly what happened in his life. And so the key takeaway from this, in my personal opinion, is two things. Number one, we need to strive as much as possible to legitimately believe that we're blessed and always favored, even though our circumstances may not always indicate that. Number two, we need to go into anything with the mindset that it is going to work, because that's exactly what he was telling me about his friend. The reason why he was successful in business is because he had that mindset. This is going to work. I got this. I'm going to succeed at this. God is on my side. Blessings are coming my way. Because he was comparing that to the mindset of most people, which is what? Oh my God, I'm so scared. What if this doesn't work out? What if this doesn't work out? I mean, sure, listen, obviously all of us are going to have negative mindsets. We're always, from time to time, of course, we're always going to be in a state of, not always, but we're sometimes going to be in a state of fear, a state of anxiety, a state of what if this doesn't work out? But if the general theme in our mind is this is going to work out in my favor because I'm blessed and always favored, these tough circumstances, these shitty circumstances in my life right now are preparing me for something better for myself, or they're teaching me something. It could be anything. And we just reframe that in our mind, we will win in the end. Because what are most people like when it comes to even prayer? I was talking to him about that. I was telling him my personal opinion on prayer, because again, I'm not a super religious guy. However, I do know right from wrong. I was telling him my beliefs are that true prayer is when you believe in what you're praying for, and you believe that your prayers are going to be answered, and you act in ways that are consistent with the fact that your prayers are going to be answered. It's not just saying, oh God, please give this to me. God, please give this to me. I want this. I want this. Please make this happen. Please make this happen. And so we were talking about that, and we both agreed that that type of prayer right there, when you pray that way, you keep the power outside of yourself, and you keep it in a way where you're not proactive about shit. Everything is, oh, God's going to take care of this, and I'm not even going to do, I'm just going to sit back and pray like a victim. Oh, God, why me? The circumstances suck. Just give this to me, God, and then everything's going to change. No, God doesn't want that from you. God wants you to bust your ass and you to work hard. And after all that, when you've truly tried your best, because only you know whether or not you tried your best, you just leave it in God's hands after that. It's not just before that, where you just pray that things are going to just come to you like that without changing yourself, especially your mindset. He was telling me this is like a cheat code to life, basically. That's what he learned from his friend. Anything I set my mind to is going to work out because I have the power of belief, the power of conviction, the power of positivity in my favor. And we were even talking, we were saying this isn't like toxic positivity, because to be quite honest, I myself do not believe in toxic positivity. I think it's so cringe. It's like no matter what happens in your life, you're just so positive 24/7. Really? You're a human being with who's just like a robot with no feelings? No, that doesn't happen. But if the general theme is flipped in such a way where you train your mind to be blessed and always favored no matter the circumstance, and you believe that God put these circumstances in your life because of for your better, for your advancement, because he wants what's better for you. He wants what's best for you. He wants you to succeed. He wants to teach you this. He wants to teach you that. He wants to teach you patience. He wants to teach you gratitude. He wants to teach you whatever, self accountability, self-improvement, anything. And so we got into, religion and other things, but, not to go off on a tangent, but long story short, I admired what he was telling me about his friend a lot. I got to meet his friend a couple times. I'm like, this seems like a really solid dude. He's always positive. He's always smiling. He's always putting good karma into the universe. He doesn't backbite. He doesn't do negative shit. He doesn't talk behind people's backs, but he always carries himself in a spirit of conviction and belief. Again, anything that happens in his life, he's blessed and always favored. Anything he sets his mind to, he's blessed and always favored. If he doesn't do too well at a certain thing, he reframes it in his mind. Oh, well, this happened for the better because it's teaching me X, Y, Z. I even thought about myself, to be honest. I'm like, sure, for the most part, yes, I'm a positive person. That's correct. For the most part, I see the glass as half full instead of half empty. But sometimes I struggle with patience. And sometimes I have a mindset where I'm so focused on one thing, and when that one thing doesn't go my way, I can get pissed off, I can get upset, I can be like, oh shit, I knew some shit was going to happen. And that just creates a negative spiral. Instead, what I could learn from my friend's friend is to just reframe everything in my mind to be blessed and always favored. Always think that way. Even if it's delusional. I mean, as long as it gets the job done, I made the video on delusional confidence. As long as it gets the job done, you're good. So that was my takeaway. Anything in life, like right now, I'm going into work right now. To be quite honest with you guys, I do not enjoy my job at the moment. I'm a pharmacist. I work at a retail pharmacy. They pay me pretty well. However, I've seen this as a means to an end from the very beginning. Just as a means to an end. And so what I should do to change my mindset during the tough times is understand that number one, this is a means to an end. Number two, it's teaching me something. Maybe it's teaching me patience. Maybe it's teaching me to better deal with patience, to deal with patience in a way. Patience as in like sick people, I mean, like Patients, not patience as in like being patient. To deal with patience in such a way where I don't get flustered just because they don't understand something, or just because they can be very tough to deal with. They can be a big pain in the ass, which yes, it's true. Anyone who works in retail pharmacy knows this, as a pharmacist especially. But maybe I could take my friend's friend, adopt that mindset to make me blessed and always favored no matter what. I'm applying to new jobs right now. You haven't heard back from anyone, you're blessed and always favored. You don't like the current circumstances, you're blessed and always favored. You got into, your boss told you something that you didn't really like that much, you're still blessed and always favored because you're learning. And you could take that and change it to a positive. He was even telling me, like, this is a cheat code. It's like once you really believe that, the circumstances tend to change once you change your mindset. You have a very positive mindset, even the negative circumstances, they're not going to last. God's going to put people and circumstances in your life that tend to reflect your mindset at that given time. That's the law of attraction. I believe in it 100%, wholeheartedly. I can say with absolute confidence that I'm a huge proponent of the law of attraction because in my experience, it's the right thing. It's accurate. It's legit. It happens. That's how the universe works. So the key takeaway from, this topic is to just always assume that you are blessed and always favored, even during the negative days, because no human on the planet I'm convinced, at least, no human on the planet can be positive 100% of the time, because that just goes against your nature as a human being. You're not a robot, you're a human being. However, when you adopt that mindset that you're blessed and always favored, and all the negatives in your life, you can somehow, just somehow, turn it into a positive. Anything. You missed whatever flight going to whatever destination, maybe that wasn't meant to be for you. Maybe something bad was going to happen to you if you took that flight. You missed so-and-so opportunity, maybe that job was not going to be good for you, because God's the one in control in this case. You see, you're doing your part, but God always does his part too. You had a falling out with someone, it didn't work out with the girl, whatever, it just wasn't meant to be. And so when you think about these things and you put yourself in that mentality, you give yourself power. Instead of thinking like a victim, you give the circumstances power over you, which means you become powerless. You make yourself powerless. We don't want that. And God certainly does not want that. God wants you to tap into power by trying your absolute best and then asking for prayer, or praying while you do that. It's not just magic. It doesn't just happen like that, because he knows what you're doing. He sees what you're doing. He knows what you're thinking. But if you try your best, and again, assume the mindset of always, I'm blessed and always favored. I'm blessed and always favored. I'm blessed and always favored. God is going to put the circumstances in your life that reflect that. And isn't that what you want? Don't you want to be blessed and always favored? All right, start acting that way instead of just praying for it. Start acting that way. So that's the key takeaway from the video, guys. Stay positive. Not toxic positivity, but mostly positive. You're blessed and always favored. The negative circumstances in your life, sure, they suck, but don't even tell yourself that they suck. Tell yourself, you know what, this prevented me from something bad that could have happened. If I did so-and-so, if I took whatever so-and-so opportunity, if I hung out with that friend, if I continued with this girl, whatever. So keep that in the back of your mind. Maintain an attitude of belief and conviction and positivity, and then you will eventually become the kind of person who's blessed and always favored, who's confident, and who has a very positive and blessed life. Stay blessed, guys. Peace.